It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. Today's date is the 12th of February. Tomorrow is Friday the 13th, John. Okay, you ready? I sent you a couple different things. Did you see some of those things?
I saw the AI images you sent. Yeah.
You didn't like those. Okay. Did you look up Redy, REDY.com?
I did. Yeah. Speaking of AI, there's some good AI, like fake real estate agents or fake brokers that are clearly AI images. They're people that don't actually exist. And you can is the idea that you go to this company and they will sell your house quickly? Is that the idea?
No, it's a fascinating concept. I heard this ad on the radio yesterday. I thought to myself, wow, what a great idea. Okay, John, let's say you're going to sell your house. And you have a couple friends of yours. Jimmy Smith is a great real estate friend, a great real estate agent. Another friend of you says, no, Jenny Jones is the one you should hire. So you go like, okay, well, I'll pick one of them, and hopefully they'll sell my house at the price I want. What Redy is doing is they're turning the equation backwards, where essentially they're saying, hey, tell us you want to sell your home. Tell us where it's at. Tell us the price range. And we'll have real estate agents bid to list your home, and they will send you a check to list your home.
Wow, that sounds great. So what's the catch?
There is no catch.
And why hasn't somebody done this before? And have you researched what criticisms of this company are?
Well, I understand what the criticisms are, but the point where it's to the point where, like, you're the guy that likes to make money. You're the guy that's always talking about, hey.
Well, no, Brad, I work with you. Go ahead.
The BlackRock is a great organization. We love them. They do all sorts.
Yeah.
So the idea being is this empowers the homeowner. So essentially, hey, you want to list my house? Pay me for it. Yeah, you want to list my house? Pay me. Pay the privilege of listing my house.
That sounds great, Brad. Like, yeah, I'm on Reddit now and I'm reading a lot of the criticisms that people have of feedback and experience. So, yeah, it's certainly something to look into if someone was looking to sell their house.
John never likes any of my ideas. Never likes any of my
ideas. Weren't you pretending the other day that you were going to buy something, I don't know why you're spending money on stuff, but weren't you pretending that you were going to buy something near an airport, like a plot of land near the airport?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, wow. And you said you don't want to. Are you afraid that if you talk about it on the air, Tracy Ellis will come in and snatch it up or something?
Yeah, she would. She will. I see. I own several pieces of property that I've bought through the years, which are, I guess you could call them orphan properties. One of which is not too far from you. As a matter of fact, if I told you where it was, you would know exactly where it was.
And it's something that's on the right of way or something, right? You've described this before.
It's a piece of property that's 144 feet long and it's 5 feet wide.
And your idea of buying it was, did you hope someday somebody would want to build something there and you could hold it ransom until they paid you a huge sum of money?
John, I used to own 4 pieces of property. I'm down to 3 because in one piece of property, which I bought in a neighborhood where the house across the street from the piece of property that I bought was appraised at, I think, $2.5 million. I bought this piece of property, I think, $262. And shall we say John would be proud of the return on investment for that piece of property because of the fact that I'm not going to give it away of who bought it back from me. But first off, nobody knew it was there, which was sort of interesting. And the interesting part of it was once they knew it was there and once they knew they bought it, they became very antagonistic to me. And the grass was being cut by one of the neighbors, by actually the neighbor right next to the piece of property that I bought. And once they realized I own this piece of property, they stopped cutting the grass. Which is interesting because technically, if they were smart, they could have gone after me for what they call adverse possession. You know what adverse possession is?
No, I don't. What does that mean?
Adverse possession is like, let's say, and this happens a lot in the real estate business, and this is why I will say anybody out there who's going to buy any kind of piece of property, if your real estate agent tells you you do not need a stake survey, fire that real estate agent. Get a stake survey where the surveyors come out and they literally survey their property and they're putting their little sticks with the little flags on them, and you go out and you walk the property line. I have 2 friends of mine that have had this happen. One of them directly, one of them their son, where they had a house that they thought they knew where the property line was. And that wasn't the case. And it was interesting because the next door neighbor was essentially had taken over a part of their property. And adverse possession is, and I believe in the state of Missouri, it's 7 years. If, like, let's say you didn't know where your property line was, and your next door neighbor was cutting the grass 5 feet into your property line, and he was fertilizing that in the whole bit. If you never said to him at some point in time, hey, Bill, you're cutting a little bit far over to my ground. My property line's right here. If you would have never said that to him, after 7 years, he could go through the court system and essentially take that 5 feet of property from you.
Because he's the one that's been taking care of it.
Right. He's the one that's maintaining it. And I ran into this situation where, once again, Brad makes a mistake. When I bought the crap transmitter site, which was back in the day was the KSLQ AM transmitter site, I didn't have a stake survey. I took the word of the previous owner who told me where the boundary lines are. I finally hired a surveyor and realized that a Farmer Lay, who's on the south side of the crap transmitter site, had been farming 2 acres of my property, which I didn't even know I owned for I don't know how many years. And so how much money was Farmer Lay making off me because of the fact he was, depending which crop he was either doing, beans or corn? I mean, 2 acres of property, John. I mean, how much do you think, what would that be worth? You're the farm guy. What would 2 acres of corn be worth?
A lot, thousands.
Thousands? Really? Seriously?
I mean, every year, yeah, depending on what the yield was and what the price for the commodity was, yeah.
So I say to anybody, this is Brad. Nobody takes my advice. Normally I say, take my advice and do the opposite. And I will say that again. If you're going to buy a piece of property, do not have it stake surveyed. Now, in enjoying my opposite theory, and it said, well, Brad said not to do it, so I must do it. Does that help, John?
That does help. And you also had a February 13th story that you said you needed to talk to me about.
I may not be here tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Is there anything that you want to divulge to listeners? Are you having a health crisis again?
No, it's a crazy deal. I was supposed to go down and pick up, once again, this is Brad buying junk equipment to keep my stuff on the air. I was supposed to go down to Kentucky on Saturday. And the problem with this is a big hulking piece of, literally, I'm buying this out of a junkyard, and it's a big hulking piece of equipment that I have to pull back on a trailer. And I had made arrangements with the guy to go pick it up on. It's a part of a transmitter for the AM transmitter site. It's once again, it's in a junkyard right now. It's going to be scrapped, and I'm literally going down there to save it from being scrapped. But I was going to drive down on Saturday, but the forecast for Saturday is like some really super heavy duty rain, and I just don't want to drive that in this heavy rain on Saturday. So tomorrow's supposed to be fairly nice day from St. Louis all the way down to Kentucky. So I'm going to firm it up with him today. I'm going to take a look at the forecast one more time. Dave Murray's now saying it's not supposed to start raining until late in the afternoon, and I was planning on leaving at like 5 o'clock on Saturday morning. But still, as crazy as it may sound, I've been a guy that's hauled trailers for years. I'm not real wild about trailers in the rain. Not that when, that I have traction issues or stuff like that, but when you have a small trailer, and my trailer, because it's a single axle trailer, does not have trailer brakes on it. If you have to hit the brakes real hard, a lot of times that's bad situation and you see this all the time with people with boat trailers and things like that. It can become a hairy situation because your 4 wheels are being, held by the brakes, but the trailer has no brakes. And it tends to fishtail and sometimes, jackknife and stuff like that. So, and the other thing is, I don't want this piece of equipment to fall off the trailer, even though I'll have it on there with nice binders. But I just try to be a cautious guy. So, like I said,
I get what you're saying. So, should we call the show tomorrow? Should we say that we'll just be back on the air on Monday?
Yeah, let's call it that way. And if we,
that makes the most sense.
If we are here tomorrow, we'll be here tomorrow. Okay. Anything else you want to in our last couple minutes here?
Yeah, let's say, boy, you know what? I'm going to start preparing things for Seed Block, Brad. This is the second day in a row you've asked me, and I feel thoroughly unprepared. I apologize for that. Yeah, so we covered the fact that you're going to be buying most of St. Louis Lambert Airport. I think that's awesome.
No.
And you don't want anybody to know that, so we're certainly not going to mention that on the air.
If I told you the purchase price, you wouldn't believe me.
Because it's so, and it's another thing where you hope that at some point a government entity comes in and says, we need this. And then you can highball them for a huge amount of money.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Nice. Very good. But now, Brad, when you get that money, what are you going to do with it?
What am I going to do with it?
Yeah.
I'm going to go down in the city. I'm going to buy as much dope as I can get. I'm going to get on. I'm going to call Epen Thampy and say, Epen, tell me where all the good stuff is. And he's going to say, okay, Brad, go to this place. Then I'm going to go out in West County and I'm going to hit all the dispensaries. And it's just like, there's a classic TV blooper reel of reporters out in the field asking questions to, people. They're doing like man on the street kind of interviews. And this has been some years ago. And this woman reporter is in it looks like a 7-Eleven or like a Quick Trip kind of place. And the story is the lottery in this particular state, I can't remember what state it was, is up to like 9 figures. It's in like the hundreds of millions of dollars. So she's going through the places and saying, hey, if you win the lottery, what do you want to do? So she goes up to this guy, and the guy's filling out his lottery tickets, and he's got his back to her, and he turns around. He's a young guy, and she says, hey, what would you do if you won the lottery? And he smiles. He says, I'd buy lots of blow and pay lots of hookers.
Yeah, so that's kind of the Brad Hildebrand plan.
That's right. Lots of hookers, lots of blow.
Speaking of blow and hookers, who did you meet? Did you meet anyone interesting? You had some sort of a chamber event yesterday.
No, that was Tuesday.
Oh, okay. I saw you post pictures on Boomer Facebook.
Yeah, that was Tuesday. That was my chamber meeting. Matter of fact, it was interesting. I sat at the table with Caleb Hunter, who sponsored the meeting, and the guy from the St. Charles County Parks Department. I didn't talk about this. The guy who was the head of the St. Charles County Parks Department, and he's bragging about their attendance at all the parks. And as I'm leaving, I said to him, "Hey, if you want me to help you to get people in Klondike Park, I'll be more than happy to help you." And he says, "Yeah, we do have an issue there." So he admitted that.
Yeah, and he said, look, the last time a man offered me that, he was with his partner, and they were offering sinkholes.
I don't know about that, John.
Now, was Caleb Hunter the guy whose catchphrase was "your mom called," or was that the Pez ant control guy?
No, that is Caleb. Caleb is a very successful businessman, and he's quite the character. And he's an interesting guy. He's a wonderful guy, and he does tons of stuff for the community. He's to me like the ideal guy because first off, he's a successful businessman. He's got a really funny sense of humor, and he believes and he's a Christian, not a Christian Scientist. He's a Mormon, Church of Latter-day Saints, and he's very much into. Matter of fact, he's promoting a guy who's running for the O'Fallon City Council who is also a Mormon. And I'm telling you, folks out there, if you don't know Mormon people, get to know Mormon people. They're some of the best people I've ever dealt with in my life. I'm telling you. I mean,
we've discussed this on the show, Brad. They tend to be very kind people. They tend to be, it's hard to rattle them,
right,
no matter how much you try. Yeah, they seem to be great people.
Yeah, I should be Mormon because after what John does to me in the show, matter of fact.
Brad, remember, always drive in the Adam Schnelting lane on the way to Kentucky.
Here, you just hear my phone go off. I have to do this, okay? I had a meeting with someone yesterday, and they listen to the show from time to time, and this person said to me, John hasn't given you much crap lately. What's going on? And the funny part of that was that very morning, here's one of my texts from one of the listeners. Let me see if I can find it real quick before we get out of here because I got to get here. Here's the text from one of the listeners. Boy, John was pretty tough on you today. That was from yesterday at 12:30.
Yeah, it's all relative, Brad. If it's your first time listening, it might be a little bit rough. I hope you have a decent drive to Kentucky, Brad.
Okay. And
I'll see you on Monday.
Heading out to Wentzville right now.